Welcome aboard, kid.
Hello, Internet, and welcome to the WAKCAST, the wackest podcast on the Internet. I'm one of your hosts, Fluff McGruff.
I'm Super Symbiote.
And I'm Naboo, that's who.
And today we've got one of our favorite topics that we're going to talk about today, and that is
Finally.
God of War.
Finally.
More video games, let's go.
Boy.
Yeah, that's what we do here on the WakCast.
No, yeah. For those of you that don't know, God of War 4 came out in 2018. Took Game of the Year that year and is considered one of the best games that's come out on the PS4 ever since. And we are finally getting that sequel. So we're finally getting a chance to talk about it.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been very excited about it. Of course, developed by Santa Monica Studios, God of War 5 or God of War Ragnarok will follow the journey of Kratos and his son Atreus, who also happens to be Loki. Spoilers, you should have played the first one by now.
Yeah.
And we're going to kind of see just that story continue from where it left off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's the end of the episode. Okay, we're good. Now, have y'all played all of the God of Wars or just like...
No, I'm gonna talk about
not.
that. I'm gonna talk about that shit too.
No, I tried to play God of War 3 when we got it for a PS
Same.
Plus game like a year or two ago. And like my hand started hurting. It was just so button mashy. I can't do it.
There's a lot of quick time events.
And I mean the combat is literally it's just mash, man. It's kind of
No,
it felt a lot like the Devil May Cry where you go, man.
Yeah,
that's what I was about to say. It's old school Devil May Cry, but just way harder because you're the God of War.
No, yeah. The first three, they're all like kind of hack and slash quick time event mechanics.
Now,
but
I will say I did watch my older brother play a little bit of one of them, and I do recall a couple nudie scenes. And I was like, whoa,
this is wacky.
Crazy right now.
Yeah, it was so ahead of its time to include boobies into the gameplay. It was like, whoa.
Boobies?
Games can't do that.
Right? But now we have a father figure.
I was about to say now
we went from
that's
Bachelor, Playboy, God of War to
we went from boobies
to Father of War.
Well, yeah, see that like as a kid, that's why I didn't play God of War because I would see like other people play it, like teenagers play that shit, and I'd be like, yeah, this ain't for me. Like it just looked so hard, so complicated. I did like the like action scenes and stuff like that, but it was just lost on me until 4
honestly,
came out.
Like the original 3 were much, much, much more graphic than like the newer God of War.
Oh yeah.
Because like I remember, I think she was like I can't remember what her name was, but there was this boss in one where she was like this big fat snake lady with like 12 titties like dangling. Like, what the am I fighting right now?
Was that their version of Medusa?
I think it's something like
am I fighting or what the fight am I
it was
right
like
now?
Medusa or like the Gorgon or something like that.
I've since gone back and watched those stories on YouTube and watched a lot of the boss fights on YouTube, but there ain't no way. Like that type of high speed action is just not how I like to play my games unless you're built to have an advantage in that type of situation.
No, yeah.
It
And like, honestly,
yeah, that's more like a roguelike kind of strategy now. There's tons of like Hades and stuff like that have that like quick pace, just combat and just constantly going. And it can be really fun, but it is tough.
About the original 3 was just the quick time events, man, because like that's something you don't really see in video games nowadays. I feel like the new generation isn't going to understand like how frustrating it is to have like a 5 button combo where you're literally told what button to press a second before you're supposed to press it. And if you mess up like one time, you've got to do all of it over again.
Now, see, that's why I enjoy Telltale, because they kind of get you into that loop of quick time events. And if
But
you
see,
mess up, it'll just be like, oh,
right.
that's a bad thing that happened in the story. You got to keep
In
moving.
Telltale, that's the thing, is like your story continues, and I know in other games like Heavy Rain,
I
you
hate
messed up a
it.
quick time event, like the story just continued. It worked with what you put in, same
Yeah,
with
well,
Until Dawn.
it
But with
definitely
God of
seems
War,
like
it was like, oh, you messed up, gotta redo it. Just redo the whole thing until you get it right.
yeah, it seems like the developers have grown throughout the years and have listened to the feedback, because I don't think anybody wanted quick time events to stay around.
Right.
Like, unless your whole game is based around quick time events and a story is involved because of it,
Yeah.
then it's fine. But yeah, you can tell that the developers today have really gone away from quick time events, and if they're there, it's more of like quick time, but here's actually 30 seconds to push the button.
Right.
Mortal
It's like
Kombat did it
it's
like
like a mash the
once.
button scenario where you have to press it a certain amount of the same button.
Yeah.
But then skip ahead 10 years and then they're dropping God of War. Technically four, but it was so long they just decided to name it God of War.
Yeah. Why not?
A much more RPG stylized, much more serious tone.
Well, that's
No,
actually something that's been brought up a couple times on like Facebook and shit. That's like, we are in that age where they are like either making sequels or reboots and then just naming them the title of the first one.
right. It's
And
very
I don't know if that's supposed, like, I get it for God of War because technically they took this game and completely reinvented
yeah. I
everything.
mean, it's a
Yeah.
completely
So it
different
makes
ethos,
sense.
you
But
know.
like Skate's doing
That-
it too. Skate 4 is just called Skate.
Oh, I didn't know that. But
Yeah.
I think it makes sense. Because I mean, when you compare God of War 3 to God of War,
Oh my
yeah,
God.
I mean that's a whole different game. The play style, combat, the story, like everything happening is completely different. So yeah, you might as well just kind of start the rebrand, but not really. Like the story is picking up. The title doesn't need to.
No, yeah.
Fair.
It's like the same like lore, but like just a completely different chapter of Kratos' life.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I see what you're saying though. There's a lot of games that I guess have just been like they're finished properties, they never planned to return to them, and they're like bringing them into this new generation with these new graphics. I honestly think it's mostly just because of how advanced our graphics engines have gotten nowadays, that
Yeah.
these developers are like, well, I mean, true, we could make like some story with this engine, or we could just go back and do what we loved, what we got started on with this amazing technology.
Yeah.
Honestly, more power to them. I'm enjoying it right now. Even other one like Last of Us remake, I guarantee I'm getting that. That's not even that old of a game, and they're remaking it.
Bro, and they've already remastered it. But
Yeah,
I get some people are like, paying for the same game again, but whatever. When it's a game this good, take my money.
yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, Skyrim. They're probably going to release another 7 more times.
Okay,
It's gonna be
see, not
rad.
that one. That one can stop taking my money.
Please
Fuck off.
stop taking my money. Skyrim. I've bought Skyrim at least 5 times. At least.
I still
See, like
haven't gotten the like super duper edition that just came out.
I haven't either, and like I kind of don't want to, man. I don't know if I have the time to play Skyrim again. There's so many other
Nah.
games that deserve my time.
I can't. I literally cannot do it anymore. I know every single step of the process of every single quest line.
Yeah.
Not exciting.
It's the dialogue repetition for me. Like I'll just hear the same things every time I play, and it just gets on my nerves to hear it again. I'm like, I know you took an arrow to the knee. F off. Like I'm so over it.
Every time I play Skyrim, I get out of Helgen and I'm done because like it's just my brain foresees every event.
Well, like I only play for the mods, and PlayStation's mods are not as good as Xbox's, to be honest.
No,
So it's kind of disappointing.
But that's why God of War really did a good job, because they did not just rehash the same bullshit. When they came back with a vengeance, whole new story, whole new mythos, whole new characters. The only one that's really there is Kratos. Shit, but that's where God of War did great. They came at us with a whole new story, whole new mythos, whole new characters and everything. And they knocked it out of the park, got game of the year. And so now we have this second fifth and second game of the God of War franchise.
Probably more than that, honestly. I think,
of course,
wasn't there a couple off branches?
There were some tweets saying we were going to get news on June 30th. They didn't get to us on June 30th. It was a little bit later on July 6th when they finally got to us with that trailer. But now that trailer is dropped, and I know both of y'all have seen it, so I do kind of want to just analyze that with y'all for a little bit. So something we saw in the trailer was Freya attacking Kratos. Now, Freya was an ally in the first/4th game, and then we murdered her son brutally.
Yeah.
And now she's no longer our ally. Now it was clearly a cut scene where she was attacking us in this trailer. But do you think that she's going to be someone like a boss that we're going to have to fight in this game?
Probably.
I don't know. I feel like it's possible, but there's a larger chance that it's going to be that. I don't know. I feel like maybe they'll possibly come together to fight off Thor and Ragnarok.
Yeah. I mean, so I don't know the story or like how the lore goes and necessarily if they're following any kind of lore, but I could see them like, she's mad at first, they start teaming up, and then I really see Atreus doing some like, rebellious teenage shit, and like he might wax her.
Yeah, fair. Which is something to bring up. Atreus is definitely more mature. This isn't directly after the first game. This is a couple years after the first game. Atreus is a teenager. Kudos to the voice actor because he dropped a whole ass octave for this game. That's pretty impressive. I'm pretty sure it's the same person. He's just deeper.
Nice.
Which is really nice to see them put that kind of effort in there. Of course, Kratos is the same voice actor that we all know and love. Hopefully we get some more boys in there. Who knows?
Boy.
But going back to some of the boss fights, because of course, God of War is kind of known for its boss fights. We've got a look at Fenrir, the wolf that brings Ragnarok. He's massive.
Yeah. Way bigger than in Valhalla. Assassin's Creed Valhalla had a Fenrir, but he was not even close to that big.
Yeah, honestly, it reminds me of the Fenrir that was in Thor Ragnarok, the Marvel movie that like Hulk fought.
Yeah.
Like it fucked up Hulk for a little bit. That's the scale that it was looking like to me. But granted, we saw it from a far off distance, so it could be even bigger. It could be the size of the World Serpent from the previous installment.
I imagine honestly that it will be, with the way they're like larger than life creatures are. I feel like once Kratos gets to the paw of Fenrir, it's going to be like we have to look all the way up to see Fenrir's face.
Like his
I wonder if
of our house.
Do you think maybe they'll go towards the Shadow of the Colossus fighting method for that fight? We'll get to like climb up it, hit the weak points kind of shit.
Essentially, kind of like the dragons from the original installment, where like you had to kind of climb all over them and get weak points.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. True. We did do that with the
And then another boss that we're looking at fighting is the God of Thunder, Thor. Now the internet's giving a lot of shit talk about this version of Thor. What do y'all think of this Thor?
Beautiful. I absolutely love it. He is literally like, to me, I think he's terrifying. Like, I don't think the fat belly gives him any less scare points.
Chunky boy.
Yeah,
Nah,
if
if
you
anything,
see him at the end of the first one, like God of War 4, where he comes for them in the cabin, oh my god, terrifying.
yeah, a Thor who like I'm sure he doesn't think of it this way, but he like compared to the Marvel Thor, when you see a Thor who like doesn't give a shit about how he looks, you know he doesn't give a shit about you at all.
Right.
Like,
And I mean, he's a
and he,
warrior. Technically, it makes more sense that he
yeah.
wouldn't be this
Also,
beautiful man. Like he murders people.
well, and if you've played Monster Hunter, you know you've got to eat up a big meal before you go to battle. It's the
Right.
only way.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I'm pretty excited to fight him. I've seen
I
some
thought his,
videos with the voice actor. He's pretty cool.
I
No,
thought his
yeah.
hammer looked sick as too.
His
Yeah,
hammer does look pretty cool.
Mjolnir is hot.
Um, and then I mean, just also just the little like monologue that he gave in that trailer where he was like, I'm assuming he's speaking to Kratos when he's like, you seem like a reasonable man. Like it gives me this vibe that like Thor in this universe is just as dangerous as Kratos. And those two bashing is like,
I truly think this game is going to be Kratos has finally met his match. Like Thor is going to bring hell with him to come fight Kratos. And I mean, this may just be me, but I think this is where Atreus is going to decide to become Loki.
mm. And then leaning away from the bosses, we do have some returning allies. So we've got Brock and Sindri, if you remember them from the first one.
Let's go.
The dwarves.
Yeah.
We also have a third dwarf named Dulan.
Nice.
With a little octopus friend. We don't really know what his role in the story is going to be. We don't know if he's an ally or an enemy or what have you. We also have Mimir returning, your favorite talking head.
I love Mimir so much.
Yeah.
And then so a new lady whose name I don't know.
Yeah.
But she looks like potentially a love interest for Atreus. Maybe.
Ooh. So she'd
that's,
be an ally, a new ally.
That's going to be an interesting little plot if there is there. Which, considering you're playing Kratos, the father of Atreus, I'm pretty sure this is going to result in a shotgun wedding, if as it were.
Yeah.
God, can you imagine going and like
If they
someone whose
survive.
dad was Kratos?
If they survive Ragnarok.
That is true. Knowing the story of Kratos, if she is a love interest of Atreus, she might not live.
Yeah.
Because God's lives are tragic.
Yeah. That's
But
why
yes,
we do not
Rock and
speak
Sindri
of them.
coming back. I'm really excited to see them. Now, I'm curious to see how they actually handle the combat progression in this. So like just speaking personally, something that's kind of bothered me about games is like especially sequels, you spend so much time upgrading and leveling up and becoming a badass. You get to the second game and for some reason your character has completely forgotten everything that you've learned and you have to
Yeah.
else. Well, in this one, in God of War, you actually like physically upgraded your weapons. Like that's how you like leveled up, was you got Brock and Sindri to modify your weapons, your chaos blades, your axe. And I'm curious to see how they're gonna handle not starting you out as just a monster who can take on everything. Because are the weapons de-upgraded? They like demote them like.
Well, yeah, they're probably considered new weapons that need to be upgraded, I mean, that's probably it. I mean, they're just like, here's some new blades. You gotta, they'll get stronger the more you use them.
I mean, I
Sucks
think
to
in
suck,
terms of
new.
like the Leviathan axe and shit, it'll probably like stay upgraded. And they'll just come up with new upgrades for you to add to it somehow.
I guess like they can also
like
add new powers to it.
Yeah.
Something about elemental switching. Like, of course, the Leviathan axe was ice and the Chaos Blades were fire, but it would be neat if he could learn to change that. I'm not really sure. I've considered new weapons too. Artreus in the trailer, we do see him use one of his summonings. And he summons an elk and then actually rides it and uses it to fight some Draugr. And I thought that was pretty interesting. In the first one, when he did a summoning, he just kind of did it and they did whatever. But now seeing him actually interact with his own magic, clearly he's learning. But we don't see much change in Kratos, and I'm a little concerned that Kratos isn't going to change that much, and it's basically going to be just a continuation of what the first game was, which would be okay, but also I think would be a little disappointing, you know?
Oh, I'm sure he'll be different. I mean, it's been several years.
No, yeah.
He's got a teenager now.
He's the god of war, dude. He's
He is
just
the god of
always
war.
powerful.
Dude. And then of course another guy that we're going to get to see in this game is confirmed, mentioned several times in God of War 4, and that is going to be Tyr.
Yeah.
Described as the old God of War of these Norse lands. Now, Tyr, for those of you that don't know, is a frost giant and built, I don't remember the name of it, like that bridge thing in the first game with the world tree in it. He's the one that hid Jotunheim. Basically, he is the thorn in Odin's side.
Yeah.
And a heavy part of this game is obviously going to revolve around Kratos being like, Thor and Odin, let's go get Tyr so that we can homie out. And maybe, who knows, the girl is Tyr's daughter, and they can do a little play date, and it'll be really cute.
That's going to be lit, though.
Will be.
Two God of Wars.
Bro, I'm really excited to see how Tyr is in this story. He is a massive character, and I feel like when he hits the field, granted, we don't really get to see a whole lot of team ups happen in God of War. Really, Artreus and Kratos was the first team up. I mean, he was a part of the game mechanics. So
yeah, I think it's fair to say that Kratos isn't really a team player.
Yeah. Also, Kratos is really cool. One of my favorite things to do is just to be like, who would win between a fight of Kratos and literally anybody else? Usually Kratos wins.
Yeah, he took an ass beating at the beginning of God of War, and him and Baldur just went at it. I think he could hold his own.
Right. It's like, who would win between Kratos and the Hulk?
Oh man, that's like a whole episode right there, because I could get into specifics on both characters. I don't know.
Oh, he's nasty, man. I'm telling you, he's such a good character.
I have to find out if the Hulk can be decapitated. That would be the like defining feature in that whole fight.
I don't know. He shot himself in the mouth and nothing happened. So.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
Now, for those of you that do follow God of War and are excited for this game, you will be able to play it on November 9th, its release date. It will be released on both PS4 and PS5. They're not doing that PS5 exclusive bullshit because they know a lot of people, you know, including some of the hosts here on this channel, are not able to get a PS5 yet. They are still very hard to acquire. So I like the fact that they're keeping it available to everyone who's on the later generations.
Yeah,
it's not on Xbox though; it's PS exclusive. So,
I mean, it'll probably go to Steam eventually, but
yeah. Something that I do think is weird. So PS5, the game's going to be $69.99. PS4, the game's going to be $59.99. If you get the PS4 version, you do have to spend an extra $10 to upgrade to the PS5 version if you're able to get a PS5 after you get God of War. There's talks of it also coming to PC. So I know Sony has recently been converting a lot of their PS exclusives to PC games. They recently did the Spider-Man game for Steam. They did also make the original God of War available on Steam. So there's talks that Ragnarok could be available on PC in the near future after its release.
Nice.
Now, another thing I do just want to talk about real quick. I'm actually going to throw this one to Alex. So it's going to be these special physical editions that you can pre-order for this game. There's of course the special edition, but then there's the collector's edition, and it's the collector's edition that's really neat here because it comes with some cool little things. And I'm going to throw it to Alex to talk about this real quick.
Yeah, so I did see the video that they released a couple days ago, and it is the graphic design artist for the game and the voice actor for Thor, and they are presenting the special editions. So what's really cool about this, what you get is you get, of course, the steelbook copy case for the game. You get the game, you get a little leather pouch that has hand carved wooden dice in it that are like I can't remember, it's like some specific Nordic die that they used. You get a bunch of little figurines, you get a map of the game, some type of map, and then of course all of this comes inside of this really cool ritual box that in itself has Easter eggs. The box has different things you can pull out and open to reveal different story points. And once all of this is removed, you are left with an actual physical replica of Thor's version of Mjolnir from this game. And it is awesome. It comes in both the collector's and the premium edition. So even if you just want the hammer, you can go that route. But if you want all the goodies inside the cool box, you can go that route too. But it's nuts. I was looking at it very, very hard the other day because,
bro, it's more like if you're lucky enough to get.
Yeah, they're gonna go extremely fast, obviously. But it is super sweet. The way his Mjolnir looks.
Being honest, by the time you see this video, they're probably sold out.
Yeah, I don't know if it started the pre-orders yet because I don't know if they specifically had a date on there, but it is possible, highly possible, that by the time this episode airs, they already may be gutted, just like the Resident Evil 8 pre-order stuff. So
that goes fast. I will say too, it is the God of War Mjolnir, not Marvel's Mjolnir. So it does look I think it looks better in my opinion.
This one looks more toward like a Viking Warhammer. Like it's really cool looking.
I mean, I was listening to a Norse expert talk about Mjolnir and talk about why the hammer is so short for it being a Warhammer. It's because when they're constructing it, Brock and Sindri were actually the ones that created it. And while they're creating it, now granted, this is the legitimate Norse lore. This is not God of War. So it does vary. But what happened was Loki turned into a snake and bit Sindri on the nose to distract him. And he accidentally cut the hammer in half and it made it short. You get a little hammer that Thor be using.
Damn Loki with the snakes.
Yo, he be turning into snakes, bro.
Dude, dastardly.
Which is something I'm curious to see if they bring into this one. I feel like Loki is always known as a shapeshifter.
Yeah.
And we have yet to actually see him shapeshift in this game. So I think that would be something cool to maybe see. Also, maybe if we get to play as Atreus a little bit, not just command when he shoots his bows, that would be kind of neat.
That's what I'm wondering, if we'll get some play time outside of Kratos with him.
I could see that.
Now, I will say something that the first game did, which is actually pretty revolutionary. I didn't realize they actually did this when I played, but the entire game was shot from a one-shot camera perspective. There wasn't a single hard cut in that entire game.
Damn.
And they will be following the same direction for this one. So in this God of War, it will all be a one-shot camera style of visualization. And there will not be a single hard cut in the entire game.
Hell yeah. That's lit.
Do y'all have anything else to say about God of War Ragnarok?
I mean, I I have a feeling deep down that there is a possibility that they could be inching more toward this being the end of a certain God of War story. So I mean, I don't know how to feel. I'm like very excited for it, but being somebody who just got into the series when the previous game released, now I'm a little disappointed. But I don't know. Like, I feel like if they really wanted to create something new, they could have Kratos and Thor just beat each other to death, and then now we play as Artreus. But I don't know if they will have the heart to pull that off. Kind of like how The Last of Us did us.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Because I don't know if it would work without Kratos, but I feel like there were also people that were saying, I don't know if it would work without Joel. And Ellie was a savage.
It did. It definitely did. That was such a depressing game.
No, yeah. And I mean, also, just in terms of continuity, we have gotten some Easter eggs in not just like the previous 3 games, but also these games. The last installment in 2018, we'll probably get more in Ragnarok when it drops, but there's a lot of Egyptian Easter eggs. And so far, Kratos has never dealt with Egyptian mythology. So there's just a lot of theories revolving around Kratos somehow ending up with the Egyptian pantheon. That could be a route they take it. Of course, it could be the end of his story.
That would be nuts.
That being said, just because of past going-ons, it's probably going to be a trilogy. I see this being a trilogy.
That's fair.
I feel like trilogy is very, very good. It's just a safe bet to assume that there's going to be a trilogy.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I mean, that about does it. Of course, get excited, November 9th. Go ahead and pre-order if you want to. Santa Monica Studios, not the type of game company to screw you over on release. So that is probably a pretty safe pre-order. Get excited. Of course, the pre-order comes with some special armors and some special in-game content that you can use.
Always.
But yeah, get excited. Get the wallets out. Get ready.
Money.
Great. With that, that's going to bring us to our Fluffs Fumbles.
Love them.
Let's go.
Great. Now, I'm going to talk about something that I'm pretty sure we've talked about before on this channel, something that, deeply bothers me. I'm pretty sure it bothers y'all. And that's going to be just cyberbullying / kind of the cancel culture that's been going on. So, as I stated earlier, Santa Monica Studio was supposed to bring us news about God of War Ragnarok on June 30th. Of course, there were some delays. They didn't end up getting us that footage until July 6th, which is only, 7 days? It's a week late.
7 days.
That's really not that bad, not compared to what some other game companies have done to us that shall not be named, like the developers of Dead Island.
I hate them. I hope they went bankrupt.
The internet reaction to
cyberbullying
honestly horrible. Hundreds of people immediately started bullying the developers behind this game. Rude comments. They would harass the female developers, send them pictures of their genitals.
Yeah, that is the one that drew the line for me. Like, I could understand you going online and being a bitch, right? Messaging these people, giving them false threats and shit, but sending pictures of your wiener to the female developers, what the hell is wrong with you people?
Right, just because you're mad because a trailer was 7 days late.
What is wrong with you people?
I'm pretty sure that's a federal crime.
I'm almost positive it is. I'm almost positive they could all go to jail for that.
And just learn to wait. All right, and chill out. All right, harassing people isn't going to get you your trailer sooner. All right.
Simple fact that many people thought it was okay to berate these developers for honestly, all they're trying to do is do a great job for us. They're not making this game for themselves. They're not putting all this love in for their own benefit. They're trying to give us like a masterpiece. They could give us a shitty game. Any company can. It's happened before in the past. And I just feel like with reactions like what they got, that's what gets good developers, to basically quit and stop putting in the love into these games.
Yeah.
And it's deplorable. It's horrible and deplorable.
You're damn troglodytes.
Cut that shit off, y'all. Stop fucking bullying people just because they don't adhere to your exact time schedule or whatever it is. And definitely never send unwarranted pictures of your genitalia to anybody. Just ever. Just don't do it.
That's something we shouldn't have to talk about on the WAKCAST. All right.
It's really not.
It's pretty simple.
There were hundreds of people that did it.
Do it.
And so I guess someone needs to say something. Stop sending dick pics to random people because you're mad at them. I don't even get why that's like, never in my life have I been so mad at someone. I've been like, I want to show you my dick.
Right. I don't understand what that accomplishes. Like, penises are not attractive looking instruments. There's no reason for you to show them like that.
Right. It's horrible. So cut that shit out, or we'll be coming to your door.
Jay and Silent Bob style.
Jay and Silent Bob style.
Also, go watch the trailer for Clerks 3 because it rocks.
Right. And not only that, we've just been talking about God of War. Thor Love and Thunder just dropped. Make sure you give that a watch. It's a fantastic one.
I haven't seen it yet, but I'm sure it's banger.
It's banger. And with that, y'all have a wonderful rest of your day. I am Fluff McGruff.
I'm Super Symbiote.
And I'm Naboo, that's who.
And we are the WAKCAST. Make sure you click that bell, ring that subscribe. We'll see y'all in the future.
Yep. Bye.